Phillis Wheatley is one of the most influential poets and writers in history. Today I will summarize what I learned about her life and why she's a central figure in America. Phillis Wheatley came to America when she was 6 years old from Africa, and her buyers named her after the ship she came on, which was Phillis. Her owners also provided her with a basic Western education, and she learned how to read and write from them. At 13, she wrote her first poem. Many people looked at her more as entertainment than a respectable intellectual, because they couldn't believe that a African American could speak Latin or could write poetry. So she wasn't taken seriously. In 1973, she published her first book, which is called Poems on Various Subjects, Religious and Moral. People did not believe that she wrote the book because she was an African American, and they didn't believe that African Americans were at the same level as white people. So they didn't understand that black people were humans as well. And so they didn't believe her, and so they challenged her, but she finally got her book published in Europe because she wasn't able to do it in America. Wheatley's faith was really important to her. A lot of her poetry related to evangelism, where she would tell the gospel and evangelize through her poetry. And she related a lot of what she went through from coming from Africa to America to religion. You can also see through her poetry that she was proud of living in America because of the freedom that was being fought for, not only just for women, but for African Americans in slavery and abolition and everything. And she underlyingly, obviously supported abolitionist movements through her poetry and advocated for the freedom of slavery. And she isn't widely studied in schools because, what it said in what Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. and Dr. Peter Gallison talked about was part of the reason why she's not studied a lot in history is because she was in the spotlight from 1973 to 1845 when her first book came out and everything, but then she was overshadowed by Frederick Douglass, who was another African American writer who was very famous. And so I think him coming into the picture overshadowed her work and kind of left her in the background, and so she's not well recognized anymore. And I also don't think she's well recognized anymore because a lot of people just don't know who she is. I didn't know who she is before reading this or before learning about her. She's a central figure in America and in literature because she broke a stigma broke a stigma for the black community. Like I said before, proving her authorship meant proving that African Americans were humans and they were intelligent. And so that was a really big breakthrough, and it was when she did publish it and people did approve her authorship. It took a change in the black community and showed that black people are not just property, but they are also humans who are just as intelligent as anybody else. After reading her poem on imagination, I really like the personification of imagination and how she uses fancy and winter to reveal the importance and the value of imagination, and how imagination can help through life. The rhyme scheme also made it very easy to read, and it flowed very easily. In conclusion, Phillis Wheatley is not only important to Black history, but in history in general. And through reading and listening about Phillis Wheatley's life, I have a new appreciation for poetry and literature. And I think that she should be incorporated into more educational curriculums so that more people can learn about her and her life.